We are back with Scott, a financial professional who is answering all of your financial questions. And we are going to begin with mentioning that you can also text those questions to the number there on your screen, 336-379-5775. Okay, we're going to begin with a viewer question here which says, what is an IRA?
Okay, so an IRA stands for Individual Retirement Account. An IRA is something that you can set up for yourself as a way to save for retirement. When you put money into an IRA, it allows you to grow that money tax deferred. So this could be a huge compounding effect and benefit towards your long-term strategy of retirement. You need to make sure that we understand that the difference between that and a 401k is it does not reduce the amount of income that you've earned for the year. An IRA contribution is calculated as a deduction. So simply, it's a retirement vehicle that you put money away in for the long term.
Nice. Okay, so if your employer matches your 401k contribution, should I max out my contribution?
100%. We really want to take advantage of maxing out the 401k if we can. Not a lot of folks can do that, but if you can, you're ahead of the game. So that's really what we want to focus on. Put as much money as you can yourself in your 401k, and then allow your employer to match at their max as well, and then start to look at IRAs and other ways to save outside of your 401k. Now, keep in mind that within your traditional 401k, oftentimes these days is the Roth. And if you can divide your contribution between the traditional 401k and that Roth, you'll really be ahead of the game.
Another viewer's question, what is the difference between money market and CDs? Yeah, that's the question.
Right. So the big difference there is the commitment. So back to that word commitment. When we commit our money to a product, they're going to pay us a higher rate of return. And so a CD takes a commitment of time. And if you were to access the money, you're going to suffer a penalty for doing that, an early surrender fee. With a money market account, you can add to that, you can take from that. Oftentimes there's limits, just like a savings, you can be limited to a certain amount of withdrawals per month, but the rate of return is going to be lower because there is no commitment.
Another viewer question, are annuities good for saving money?
Well, yes, they can be. There are two different key types of annuities, if you will, the fixed annuity and the variable annuity. A variable annuity is going to be tied to the stock market, so not traditionally a vehicle that savers that are looking for guarantees are going to lean towards. However, the fixed annuity, these are becoming more and more popular these days with the stock market. There's a lot of uncertainty right now, if you will. So a lot of folks are looking for something that may pay a little better than CDs and money markets, and a fixed annuity could be an excellent vehicle that could do just that and allow you a tax savings because it will allow your money to grow tax deferred as well.
My other question too for you, when it comes to setting goals, right? It's all about the new year setting goals. What are some averages that maybe people based on age could set for themselves to put into their retirement? So what, maybe that's 30, 40, 50. What should we be looking at per year if we could?
Well, if we factor in the inflation that we've been seeing here the last couple of years, now a lot of the experts and analysis out there are saying that that's sort of tapering off, which is a good thing. But if we're planning for the long term, inflation really shouldn't matter. What we want to do is just make sure that we're trying to save as much of our income as we can. If you can save between 12 and 15% in today's economy, that would be excellent. Now, again, not everyone can do that, so start small and work your way up if you need to. Also, keep in mind that if you can build an emergency account, you call it a savings account if you will, but the difference here is that this is not for the future for a set target. This is for the unexpected. Have a savings vehicle in place where emergency money can be withdrawn because you never know when the unexpected is going to pop up, and you don't want your budget and your savings for retirement to be disrupted. Be prepared for that.
Yeah, that's really good advice. We have another viewer question that says, which would you recommend, several different stocks or one larger amount in one stock?
Okay, so this is a great question, right? And what I want to say here is that potentially what would help an investor the most is if they have different buckets of money doing different things over time. And as you get older, diversification is going to be key. And so if we potentially the downside for having all your money in one stock is sort of that old adage of having all your eggs in one basket. And we really want to have more peace of mind when we go into retirement. So I would I would suggest lean towards diversification. But the best thing anyone could do is to meet with a fiduciary advisor and get some really good advice on your given situation. The more you know about what you can do, the more you'll know what you should do in your given situation.
Yeah, I like that. Make it more personal too.